Good morning, everybody. How do you feel today? Say it loud so you can hear how you feel. Thank you for saying how you feel. Would you like to... What? I feel like you're looking at me in a strange way. Do I have something on my face? Is that what it is? Do I have something on my face here? Is that here? Do I have something on my face up here? Do I have something on my face here?
No, it's someone else's face.
Someone else's face. I think you're playing a joke on me. Now it is true. It doesn't really feel like my face. The cold nose, fuzzy snout. Cute little eyes. That sounds like me. Little round ears. Lots of fur. I feel like I just shaved.
It's polar bear.
What?
And that's your face. And that's not your face.
Oh, this is my face. And whose face is this?
Polar bear.
Oh, this feels like polar bear's body, and polar bear's feet, and polar bear's... Polar bear. Are you on top of my head?
Yes.
Are you playing a joke on me, polar bear?
Yes.
Get down.
Oh, polar bear.
Come over here.
I like your little hat.
Thank you.
Come over here.
All right. Polar bear, do you want to watch the video?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a pretty good joke.
Thanks.
Now, as I was saying, would you like to read a book with me today? I have a book I'd like to read with you. This book is called The Ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. You think this book might be about a ghost? You think it might be a little bit scary? Just a little bit scary? It is just a little bit scary. Do you like to be a little bit scared sometimes? Just a little bit? This book is also a little bit funny, and it has a happy ending too. So if you feel a little bit scared, feel free to stop the video, and then I hope you'll come back to see the happy ending. The Ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam by Angela Shelf Medearis, illustrated by Jacqueline Rogers. Let's take a look at this. Now, before we even get into the book, we can see, what's this? A house. A regular house or a haunted house? What does haunted mean? Do you know? Does haunted mean that a ghost lives there? A ghost that likes to do tricks on people? What do you think? And what are these people doing? They're probably just out for a jog, right? Or are they running away and screaming because they feel so scared? And the same with these people here. Oh my goodness. You want to see what all these people are so scared about? Do you feel brave? Do you feel brave? Oh, good. Okay. Polar bear, do you feel brave?
Yes.
Okay. The Ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. Oh, I see lots of vines. I see a spider. I see the house in the dark, and I see the moon. Moon has a big face on it. Is that like the regular moon that you see? That's an unusual moon. And here's the reflection in the water. And who do you see down here? Who do you see? Who is that? Who?
Owls.
That's right, some owls. Deep down in the East Texas woods, where the wind wails through the tall pine trees, there stands a beautiful old house. That old house sits by a lake that's so clear the moon uses it for a mirror. Now, folks in those parts say that the house is haunted by the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. We'll find out more about that ghost in a few minutes. When everything is still and dark, old Sam appears, and that's when all the mischief starts. He wails and he howls, and he rattles his chains. All good ghosts carry some chains around, you know. Then he screeches so loud it shakes the window panes. Ah! Just imagine that screech, but even scarier.
Oh, my.
Old Sam roams around that house every night, scaring anyone who comes into sight. Do you think it's fun to be a ghost? It could be. Depends on what you like to do. If you like to scare people, I bet being a ghost is great. Now, a realtor man, a real estate agent, had been trying to sell that old place for many a year. He finally offered a $5,000 reward to anyone brave enough and smart enough and crafty enough to stay in the house all night long. Folks thought if anyone came out the next morning alive and kicking, that would rid the house of the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. Now, what does a real estate agent do? Do you know? A real estate agent, realtor man, finds houses and helps people sell them. Now, in this case, I don't know who is trying to sell this house, except for the realtor. And he's been trying to sell this house for a long time. Why does nobody want to buy it? Is it because it is haunted? Oh my, oh my. And it sounds like people keep trying to go stay in this house all night, but they get too scared and they leave halfway through. Now, oh, what do you see here? What is this? It looks kind of like a bicycle. It looks kind of like a wagon. It looks kind of like a kitchen. Can you see that? Is that a food cart? Yeah. I see some signs here. It says, Dan's Crispy Delicious Batter Dipped Fish. And I see some pots and pans, and I see some knives, and I see some spatulas and spoons and forks and ladles and colanders. And I see a lamp and a photo. And I see a sign that says gumbo, and a sign that says biscuits, and a sign that says pies. And I see these big handlebars on the front of the bike and the pedals, and this beautiful bike seat. I wish my bike had a seat like that. Very comfortable. And I see this big catfish here, and I see an alligator here, and I see a fishing rod here, because you got to catch that fish somehow, you know, if you're going to cook it. And I see a little silver catfish right here in the middle of the handlebars. And up here, I see who? Dan. What kind of job does Dan do, do you think? Do you think he is a chef? I think so. There he goes, walking up into the house, carrying a big bag of groceries and a pan with him. Well, a chef named Dan thought that he was brave enough and smart enough and crafty enough to stay in the house all night long. He was sure he'd come out the next morning, alive and kicking. Dan wanted to collect the $5,000 reward from the realtor man and rid the house of the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. When he says rid the house of the ghost, he means get rid of that ghost. Get that ghost out of there. Dan took a bushel of groceries, a slab of fatback, that's some grease for when you're cooking on a pan, and a frying pan into the old house that was haunted by the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. You want to see what happens next? Let's see inside this house. Oh, pretty interesting. Look at all these different patterns, all these different pieces of wallpaper, the lace on the bed, and I see someone living in here already. Who is this? Looks like some possums. And up here I see a rat. And in here I see some kind of animal just peeking through. Hello. And I see a painting of a man and a dog. And I see a photo of someone down here with a beard and long hair. How does Dan feel about this? Does he look happy? Or does he look a little bit scared? I think he's a little bit scared. People have really been talking up this haunted house. But he's going to go check it out. You got to do what you got to do, you know? And sometimes you have to feel brave. And did you know that being brave doesn't mean you don't feel scared? Being brave means you do feel scared and you do it anyway. That's what he's going to do. The sun had already drifted out of sight. Soon the moon rose, round and full and bright. Dan closed the curtains and locked all the doors. Then he looked in each closet, hoping and praying he wouldn't come face to face with the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam, who was haunting that place. Do you think you found anything in any of the closets? Nope, nothing in the closets. Dan sliced up his fat back and made a fire in the grate. He cooked his meat to a sizzle. Psst. Smells delicious, and got himself a plate. When suddenly, Dan thought he heard a sound, but he wasn't certain. A cool breeze blew into the room and gently whoosh, whoosh, parted the curtains. What do y'all see on this page? Looks like this house has not been fixed up for a long time. I see some cabinet doors falling off. I see the handles falling off the stove. I see there is a family of possums standing in a stack trying to get to these delicious potatoes. And who do you see in here in the cabinet? One of my favorite animals. There's a little tiny bat hanging upside down in there. And there's something outside the window, too. Could it be a ghost? As Dan looked through the window of that shadowy room, he saw a boat just beyond the edge of the land and what looked like the head of a man. Just the head of a man. No body. Very unusual. But it was hard to see in all the dark and gloom. Then a voice whispered in the wind, "I'm the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. I'm on the lake, near the man." You think that ghost will just stay out there on the lake? Be kind of a boring book if you did, I think. Let's turn the page and see what happens. Are you ready? Oh, there's that ghost! Well, Dan had his pride. He wanted to feel proud of himself. And he wanted to win that $5,000 reward from the realtor man. So he closed the curtains and he tried to pretend that what he heard and saw were only the wind. Was it just the wind, or was it a ghost? It was a ghost. Then Dan heard that voice again, but it was louder this time. So he slipped over to the door, cracked it open a little bit, and scrunched up his eye to peer through the slit. On the porch, there stood a man about 7 feet tall. It's very tall. With a head and shoulders and chest and arms, but no legs at all, just floating there in the air. Then a wave of cold air whistled through the room. A loud voice said to Dan, "I'm the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. I'm on the porch near the man." Quite a thing to hear. Now, you know there are some people who are not ghosts who don't have legs. They might use a wheelchair. A ghost is different. First of all, ghosts are not real. Ghosts are pretend. It's fun to read stories about them, though. And this ghost can float. Can just float in the air. Wouldn't that be nice? You would never have to worry about stubbing your toe or stepping on a Lego. You could just float around over the ground. Something to think about. Dan slammed the door closed. and threw the back window open wide. What's Dan trying to do? What is Dan trying to do? Is Dan trying to leave? What's going to happen if he leaves? Is he going to get that $5,000? Is he going to feel proud of himself for staying all night? Well, we'll see what happens. But before he could run outside, he heard a horrible wailing and moaning. And a blast of freezing wind rushed in. What do you see in this? Looks like the whole house is tipping over. And I see the light bending over, and the glasses falling out of the cabinet, and what's this? Oh, this is actually not a bat. This is a different animal. A little animal with a little black mask over its eyes.
It is a raccoon.
It is a raccoon. That's exactly right. And I see a rat flying through the air. How unusual for a rat to do that. And I see garlic and celery and carrots and pots and pans and a red bell pepper all flying through the air. The ghost's face. Then a man's head poked through the gloom, and bit by bit, his arms and torso. You know what a torso is? A torso is your chest. The torso is the part that all your other parts connect to. His arms and torso and legs appeared in the room. The ghost put himself together and roared at Dan. I'm the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam. I'm in the room right next to the man. How do you feel like Dan felt about that? You think Dan enjoyed that? How does Dan feel? Do you think he feels scared? Me personally, I would feel extremely scared. I'm just going to say. Should we keep reading and find out what happens next? Then the most awful thing happened to poor Dan. His teeth started making music all by themselves. His knees knocked together, and his shivering feet tapped on the floor in time to the beat. Sometimes when people get real scared, their body just starts shaking. They can't do anything. So he'd like to run away, but he's just stuck right there because he's so scared. And then, what's happening here? Looks like that ghost picked up a pan or made a pan float. The ghost sniffed the air and snatched the frying pan from the grate. He ate, and he ate, and he ate. Then he drank all that burning hot grease down. Ugh. Without making a single solitary sound. When he had finished all of Dan's meat, he looked around for something else to eat. What do you think it'll be? And what is Dan's job? Do you remember?
To cook.
Dan's job is to cook. He is a chef. And by the way, who's up here in the corner again? With a little black mask over their eyes.
Little raccoon.
That's a little raccoon. That's right. The raccoon is sort of going like, That raccoon's never seen this happen before with all these people who've tried to stay in the house. There was nothing left. The ghost wants something more to eat, but there was nothing left. The ghost had eaten every bite, so he turned to Dan and roared with all his might, I'm the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam, and I want some more. Well, Dan was so scared he jumped out of his shoes. Boop! But when he landed on the floor again, he knew exactly what to do. First, he grabbed some potatoes, some ground meat and tomatoes, and with potato peels flying every which way, Dan cooked up a hash for that ghost in a flash. Some fried potatoes, delicious. More! Cried the ghost as he gobbled it all down. He looked at Dan with a horrible frown. Dan's hands shook as he scrambled a dozen eggs and buttered and toasted a loaf of bread. More! More! cried the ghost with a mighty bellow. "Give me more food because I'm one hungry fellow." Dan trembled all over from head to toe and whipped up a pan of spicy gumbo. You know what gumbo is? Gumbo is a kind of delicious soup that has shrimp in it. Do you like to eat shrimp?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's happening here? "More, more, more," cried the ghost as he wiped his plate clean. "Give me more food right now. I'm feeling hungry and mean." Have you ever felt hungry and mean? Sometimes that happens to people. Some people say hungry and angry together. You might feel hangry. The way to stop feeling hangry is to eat something. So what's Dan going to do for this hangry ghost? Poor Dan cooked and cooked until the pan was red hot. But that ghost kept eating around the clock. Look at what Dan is doing. Look, he's pouring some pasta into a colander. He's flipping a pan with one hand. He's balancing a pie on his foot. He's really cooking a lot. Now that ghost ate fried chicken and pancakes. Let me get a little closer so you can see all these. Squash and French fries. Heaps of vegetables. Mounds of potatoes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kinds of pies. Oh my. He ate spaghetti and cornbread and dish after dish of Dan's crispy, delicious, batter-dipped fish. What do you notice about all this food? I see some dancing chickens. I see some pancakes that have little faces on them. I see some laughing squash. I see some French fries that are all making faces. I see some bell peppers that are running and jumping, and some onions and some broccoli, and some celery that is being worn by some zucchini, and some bell peppers, and I see a whole bunch of potatoes that are having a great time, and I see 6 different kinds of pies, and I see some spaghetti that is telling some other spaghetti a joke, and I see some cornbread, and I see 2 batter-dipped fish, and I see 1 ghost who was very happy to eat all of it. Whew! Whew! As the pale pink of morning crept into the sky, old Sam rubbed his huge belly. What's in Sam's belly? Is it all the food he ate all night? It's all right there. When you eat a lot of food, can you see it inside your own belly? No? No? Well, you're not a ghost. Ghosts have different rules for how their body works. Old Sam rubbed his huge belly, belched, and said with a sigh, "I've been hungry for the last 20 years. It's so hard to find a good meal around here. I sure appreciate all the wonderful food. I'd love to stay around here. Is there something I can do?" What else do you see in this picture? I see a whole lot of dishes that need to get washed. And I see Sam, and I see the sun coming up over there. How does Sam feel now? Does he look scared? Or is he smiling? Looks like he's smiling. Looks like he worked very hard. He made so much food for that ghost that the ghost feels happy. One thing that all chefs love is when the people who eat their food like it and feel full and happy. So I think Dan, I think Dan probably feels pretty happy and proud. And whose tail is this? Whose stripy tail is this?
A raccoon tail.
A raccoon tail. That's Sam and that's Dan. I might have gotten the names mixed up earlier. You want to see a ghost be scared? You want to see a ghost be scared? Now remember, Sam just said that he'd like to stick around and wants to know if Dan needs anything from him. Dan thought a while, then he whispered in the ghost's ear. When old Sam heard his request, he moaned and trembled with fear. Ah! What do you think Dan said that scared the ghost. What do you think it was? Well, after the ghost got done being scared, he said, "Oh well," said the ghost, as he licked a few crumbs from a dish. "I'll do anything to get more of that fish." Then, as the sun turned night into day, the ghost grabbed a donut and whoosh, faded away. Now, do you want to see what that ghost had to do that he was so scared by? You want to see? 1, 2, 3. What is this ghost doing? What is this ghost doing over there by the sink with a whole lot of bubbles and soap? Is this ghost washing the dishes? Ah! That is a lot of dishes. What do you think? Would you be scared about that? Or do you like washing the dishes? Do you like helping with the dishes? Some kids do. Now, Dan collected his reward, his $5,000 from the realtor man, and then Dan bought that old house. He opened up a restaurant, and he became famous all over the land. He doesn't have that bicycle cart anymore. He's got a house that people come to, a restaurant. If you peek in the kitchen, you'll see Chef Dan. He cooks fried chicken and pancakes, squash and French fries, heaps of vegetables, mounds of potatoes, and 6 kinds of pies. He cooks spaghetti and cornbread and dish after dish of crispy, delicious, batter-dipped fish. And over by the sink, the ghost of Sifty Sifty Sam is washing every messy pot, dish, and pan. Dan never wanted to wash dishes again, and he got his wish. The ghost looks pretty happy. So does Dan. After old Sam has washed every last dish, Dan rewards him with crispy, delicious, batter-dipped fish. Is this ghost using a fork? Or a spoon? Or is this ghost just using ghost magic to float that food up into his mouth? I see batter-dipped fish and a bunch of delicious peas.
I really want to float it.
Well, when you're a ghost, you can make stuff float around. Must be pretty fun, because that way you don't have to use a napkin afterwards, because you didn't use your hands at all. What's Dan doing out here? He's out on a boat. He's got a fishing rod. What do you think he's doing? Fishing, that's right. Gonna go catch some more fish to fry up for the restaurant and to feed to his new friend and coworker. Now here's that house again. But does it look haunted anymore? There is a ghost living there, but this looks like a bright house full of lights with a big sign on the front that says Dan's. And I see a whole bunch of people coming in to the house because that house is now a restaurant. Everyone's coming in to eat some of Dan's delicious cooking. The end. Thank you for reading that book with me. Let's put this back on the shelf. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's floating all by itself. Whoa. Wait, can you see my hands? Oh, you can? Oh, well, okay. Well, let's pretend. Pretend you can't see my hands. Oh, it's floating all by itself. Oh! Ah! Now, did you think that was a scary story? A little bit. Did you think that was a funny story? A little bit. Did you think that story had a happy ending? I think so. Thank you very much for reading that story with me. Now, one important thing to do before you do any cooking for a ghost or anybody else is to wash your hands. Would you like to wash your hands with me? Let's wash our hands before we say goodbye. All right. Got your hands? You got your hands ready? Get some water. Get some soap. Get a little bit of suds going, and let's do I'm Black Panther. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm Black Panther. Wakanda forever. I'm really strong. And I'm really clever. If you didn't wash your hands, you better watch out. Woo! When I have my paws clean, check me out. And rinse. Turn the water off. Dry them off. Ready to cook or read or do anything else you have to do today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.